Welcome to the FanDuel Punch Out. I'm Jason Gilbo, JGilbo11. With me is Russell Clay at Russell J. Clay. Taking a look at an 8-game slate with my sexy, smooth microphone. You know, people ask and I deliver. I mean, that's just how quick I am. I mean, you know.
What do you work for Pepsi?
No, I don't know what that means.
Get the hand cart, open up the back of the truck, deliver the pallets there. Is that
Nope.
what you're talking about delivering?
Nope, not at all.
Yeah.
Nope.
Oh, that's what I thought you were referring to. So now that we've had a miscommunication, it's gonna be a great show.
Angels and Red Sox and Hector Santiago versus Clay Buchholz on the hill. Two pitchers that you really should be targeting against tonight. And over here on FanDuel, I mean, you got some right-handed bats, some really, really low price tags for the Sox.
Yeah. I mean, I sort of understand like Ortiz getting priced down from yesterday because it's a lefty, but at the same time, it's Hector Santiago. It's not like, a power lefty or anything. So I think you're firing away again. I mean, Bogart's 3,300 again is a beautiful thing to see. That's for sure. Definitely like that. And I mean, I'm okay with stacking them again today. I mean, it didn't quite work out yesterday. Obviously, Ortiz got the homer, but I think you can fire away with them again.
Yeah, I mean, yesterday was kind of weird. I mean, they put the ball in play. I mean, they racked up, 15 plus hits or something like that, but couldn't pan anything out for runs.
Right.
Today, I think things will be a little bit different. Obviously, you look at righties against Santiago, 345 WOBA, 2.07 home runs per 9. So I really like the Mookie Betts price tag. 3.9 is really nice for him. And as you mentioned, Bogarts is going to be a lock for me at the shortstop position at that price. And if Hanley's back in the lineup, I much prefer Hanley over Ortiz. But obviously, we're not quite sure if that's going to happen. Was day-to-day, was expected to play yesterday and didn't. So maybe just kind of needs that one more day off. And hopefully we get him in because that'll be a nice value.
Definitely be a nice value for him. So you're definitely patiently waiting on that one. If you can get him in there, then I like him actually over Ortiz with price considered.
Yeah, definitely. And on the Angel side of things, I mean, Cole Calhoun, I think is obviously expensive, but I think definitely worth it against Buchholz, who's been hammered by lefties this year. 397 WOBA. And I think obviously Pujols and Trout are obviously in play as well.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that top 3 is a pretty intriguing stack, even though it's expensive. I doubt it'll be too high owned. People will probably be on Trout just because people are on Trout seemingly every night, even in a bad matchup. But I think you can throw those top 3 in there and be pretty confident they're going to get to Buchholz. If not the first time around, definitely the second time around.
Yeah, I definitely agree with you. And I don't really see myself kind of spending down, in this Angels lineup. I just think the top 3 are kind of in consideration for me, and that's about it.
Yeah, I mean, maybe a Giovitella or something like that, but not necessarily in cash or anything I'm too confident in.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, Daniel Nava, obviously he's going to have the lefty matchup. If he's sitting right there again, I mean, he could be a cheap, value outfielder.
Mm-hmm.
So, Reds and Nationals is next one, Dan Straily versus Joe Ross. And we were talking, obviously the national side of things, more so in play here. For me, I'm just kind of looking at the big 2 at those prices. Everyone else is kind of priced up. I'm not really a fan of Ben Revere or Jason Worth, just because you got Betts and Calhoun in a good spot at 3.9 as well. So, Nationals, I'm not quite buying the Vegas run total of 5. I mean, yeah, Straily has blow-up potential, but he's been relatively solid this year. I mean, he's managed his damage, so I think just Murphy and Harper kind of where I'm looking.
That's a T-shirt waiting to happen. He
managed the
damage. And just a big face shot of Dan Straily. That's great for you Reds fans. Oh, man. Okay, hold on. I need a second to recover from that. Yeah, in terms of that lineup, I mean, I'm okay with it, but especially on a FanDuel, I think if you're targeting that lineup, you go with Harper Murphy and kind of look elsewhere for the value.
Yeah, I think so too. And on the red side of things, I mean, Joe Ross has struggled a little bit with lefties, 348 WOBA allowed. I don't mind Novato or Bruce at those prices. I mean, 3.2, 3.3, those are actually pretty nice. Obviously just GPP only. But those are some, he had some decent pop there. for pretty cheap. And obviously, we know Bruce has shown the power. Votto's kind of come around a little bit of late. So those are kind of the only two honorable mentions. I mean, obviously, I still think an Adam Duvall should be taken seriously too.
Adam Duvall, really? Really? No, I actually think you can play all those three are in play, but I wouldn't play them together. I think they're one-offs, you know?
I don't mind a Bruce and Votto together. Yeah, I mean, I'm not with you. I'm not looking to really stack them. I think it's just kind of a difference maker. Maybe you get a Red Sox stack in and you pop in a Bruce or a Duvall or something like that. So I think you kind of use them to be a little bit contrarian with your chalky players.
Right.
Cubs and Mets, this next one here. Obviously, the Mets are out of play going up against Jake Arrieta. So Cubs certainly in play. I don't mind them against Bartolo Colon. I mean, Bartolo Colon's been solid, but against lefties, 1.43 home runs per nine, 45% hard ball rate. Really, I think the top five are certainly in play again. I mean, the Vegas has the Cubs set at 4, but I'll take the over there.
Right. Yeah. I'm definitely probably going to be looking at some of the value guys in this Cubs lineup. I think that's an interesting way to go, especially Coughlin if he's in there, or Addison Russell at the end of that lineup. So I think that's kind of where you can start diving into some value here.
Yeah, I mean, I like Rizzo at 4K. I think that's a decent price tag. And I like Zobrist. I mean, 3-4, cheaper than Pedroia, so it's definitely a swerve downwards. Hayward, I mean, hasn't necessarily been the same, but I still think a 3-2 in the middle of that lineup has always that kind of potential, especially against Cologne, who really has been hit hard by lefties. So I think you can take a look at this Cubs team, and, the upside's really there tonight.
Definitely. Yeah, I like that Hayward call. Even though he's been struggling, it just makes sense, most nights, like against weak righties for this Cubs lineup. I think you just keep going to the well with him.
Yeah, definitely. And a Wilson Contreras at 3K. I don't mind him either.
Right.
So, Pirates and A's, this next one here, Chad Cole versus Rich Hill. And for me, it's much more about taking a look at the Oakland bats, if anything. I mean, Cole, relatively low swing strike rate, was hit hard. These A's bats, I mean, I like them quite a bit. And I think guys like Steve
Vote night. Vote night. Yeah. I'd be the guy at the town meeting just trying to shout things to get my voice heard.
You're going to be like in Game of Thrones, and it's just going to be vote.
But in a positive way. It's not like shame. It's like
you're shaming other people who didn't play him. Everyone's like, "Oh my God, vote double dog."
Yeah. And
you're just you were on him, so you're just shaming the town who didn't play him.
Yeah.
I like him quite a bit. I mean,
I need more sound effects when I make a call like that, so that it I need like fireworks going off and like scared dogs running and like crying in the corner because they're afraid of. Oh wait, that was pretty much a few days ago for me. Okay, never mind. I'm not really looking at the Pirates tonight because I do like Hill as a tournament guy, so that kind of takes them out of play for me.
Yeah, and I like a Josh Reddick at 3K. I mean, I still think that lefty-righty matchup is going to be troublesome for Cool there. And I think you can also look at, obviously, Valencia and Davis are still kind of the usual suspects in the middle.
Right. Definitely agree there.
Yankees and Padres next one. Ivan Nova versus Drew Pomeranz. And I think we were both in agreement that the Yankees are taken out of play here. Even at some of their price tags, I don't really feel comfortable taking shots on them, especially in Petco.
No need for it. I mean, even though it is an 8-gamer, I just don't see the upside there. It's a lot of tough lefty on lefty action there. It's just not needed,
No, definitely not. I think you can maybe look more so at the Padres side, if anything. Obviously, when we're talking about Nova and his home run potential, and you do have some guys with some pop, obviously Myers and Kemp kind of come to mind there.
Yeah, and I mean, it's tough to fade Yang at his price, but with Kemp at 3K, I think I might just go with Kemp and avoid the rest of this lineup. Well, Myers obviously worth it at 38, but I think I'm going with Kemp again tonight.
Yeah, I definitely agree. I mean, I think those price tags are really nice, and I mean, we're not really necessarily looking at Nova here on DK or on FanDuel either. So, for me, I like Solarte at that cheap price. I mean, he's kind of remained in that range, and if he's hitting the middle of the lineup, it's kind of a steal for value.
Definitely.
So, Rockies and Dodgers next one here. Chad Bettis for Scott Kazmir, and kind of a disappointing night for the Rockies against Bud Norris. Another relatively low Vegas total. And we talked about Kazmir being an option tonight. So, really, I mean, I'm not really looking at Blackman or Gonzalez with the lefty on lefty. Arenado's probably the only one that I'd maybe take a shot at. But obviously, kind of a low end type guy for me tonight.
Yeah, low end tournament play, deep tournament play. I'm okay with that if you're making 10 to 20 lineups. If you're making 10, sure, throw them in there a few times, but I wouldn't have too much exposure.
No, definitely not. And on the other side of things, Bettis is a big guy who's been really hit hard by right-handers. I mean, 383 WOBA allowed 1.82 home runs per nine this year. So I think more so, I mean, obviously Seager's in play. I love Justin Turner at 3-4 tonight. I like Howie
Mm.
Kendrick. I do like those right-handers in that lineup. And obviously, so Gonzalez and Utley are cheap. So I do like the Dodgers front five, but I'm more so on the right-handers. And Turner's kind of one of my favorite plays.
Yeah, I mean, you have to like Turner. Obviously, he's turned it on over the last few weeks, and another great matchup here, as you mentioned, the Woba and ISO for Bettis against righties. So, I mean, that's pretty indicative of positive.
Yeah, no, I definitely agree. Um, and I think kind of moving on here, looking at the Giants and Diamondbacks, we talked about staying away from Samardzija. Obviously, you can still take a look at Paul Goldschmidt. I mean, 3.7 is a really nice price tag. Jake Lamb, Gene Segura. So I think those are the kind of the three that you kind of stick with. Um, and outside of that, I mean, it's kind of tough to take anyone else there. Wellington Castillo, big night last night, but not really looking for him to repeat. On the Giant side of things, I mean, Brandon Belt, Buster Posey. I mean, I think they're in play, more so Posey, but obviously the price tag's a little bit higher. Angel Pagan. You look at Patrick Corbin, 347 will allowed to right-handers, 1.44 home runs per nine. So I think that's intriguing. Really high hard ball rate. If you see one of those righties kind of sneak up into the lineup, top half, you can take a look at them for some value too. Orioles and Mariners last game of the night here. Tyler Wilson versus James Paxton. Obviously, I think you're looking more so at the Mariners side of things. Wilson, a relatively weak arm. 323 WOBA to lefty, so nothing crazy, but I still think you look at Cano, Cruz, Seager kind of being those top three options. And on the other side of things, I mean, Paxton, kind of up and down lefty at times. I mean, still overall 3.41 WOBA. So I do think you can look at some of these righties. Adam Jones, certainly in play. Manny Machado, the 3.5 price tag. So Trumbo 3.6, certainly intriguing. That's going to wrap things up here with the FanDuel Punch Out. Be sure to check out DaveFantasyCafe.com for all great tools and content.